Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Cody, this is Angela, and of course, if you don't know by now, this is Charlie. And we are untethered. We wanted to take a minute to give you a quick update on our trailer situation after we just released a video here a while back about our fridge fire and some other things that are going on.
Lots of things.
Lots of things going on, and we've had a few more things since then.
Yep. We just come back to the camper expecting something to be falling apart.
Yeah, it's been a rough go, but to give a really brief update, we have been in touch with Grand Design. Their customer service team has been amazing, and even though a lot of the dealerships are backed up and a lot of the parts are hard to get, they're being really good to work with us, and I think we're going to get resolution right here at the 1st of September, so more to come on that.
Yep.
In the meantime, we had the continuing issue with our batteries not staying charged due to a bad converter. We worked with Grand Design to diagnose that problem, and they gave us the green light to purchase a converter and replace it, and they're going to reimburse us for it. So I wanted to do a quick video on the replacement process of that converter in case anybody out there is dealing with the same thing. So we're going to run through that real quick. Speaking of running, you can just hear our other dog running in the background. That's Eris over there when you hear the tick, tick, tick.
She's chasing flies. She's doing an important job.
She's chased flies all summer. But we do want to go through and show you the replacement of the power converter. That did solve a lot of issues for us with our batteries not charging, and I'm happy to say that that issue is totally resolved within itself. And then we've got a short list we're working with Grand Design on that we should have fixed up. Fingers crossed if everything goes to plan by early to mid-September. We're planning to travel up into the UP in Michigan before it gets too cold outside. So we got some good content coming your way. But for now, let's jump into this converter replacement. It's a good day today. We got a little Amazon package in the mail here, and for those of you who might be wondering what the mystery box is, this is a brand new 12-volt power converter. We talked about it in some other episodes. We've kind of had an off and on charging issue for a while, and it's went to a full-on charging issue. So working with Grand Design in the last couple of weeks, we used our multimeter and got up under the basement and took some measurements. You probably saw that in a previous video. The converter was not charging our batteries at all. So I've actually been having to charge my batteries daily on a bench charger just to keep the lights and the water pumps and everything else working. We're going to go ahead and swap this bad boy out. We're going to go with exactly what came in the trailer because it's under warranty, and in order to get reimbursed from Grand Design, I have to go back with an original part. But luckily Amazon had it. It took a couple days to get here. So we're going to knock this out real quick, and hopefully our batteries will charge. Well, now that we've got the nightmare of our extremely cluttered basement out of the way, we're going to go ahead and take a few screws out here and get this access panel off so we can get to the converter, and from there it's relatively easy. Unfortunately, I did have these up on the wall really nice and secured in, so I've got a few extra screws to take out now, but that's okay. So we're going to buzz this panel off and get to work. In case anyone's wondering, I'm not sponsored by Milwaukee, but if Milwaukee Tools would like to sponsor me, as everyone can tell, we've been doing a ton of repair work here lately, so I'll gladly take some free tools.
Babe, what else could you possibly buy?
There's an Amazon wish list with all the Milwaukee stuff on it that I want, and if I can recommend to all the RVers out there, and I'm not sponsored again, this is a great little deal. This is the Milwaukee Searchlight. It runs off the M18 battery pack, so if you already have a drill, it works. It's got some nice soft light features to it. It's got some nice sharp light features to it, different modes. And you get really good battery life just off your drill battery. It's not too heavy, but it's perfect if you're on the side of the road. You can pop it over like that, position it however you want to. It really comes in handy out on the road. So there's my plug for Milwaukee Tools today. Okay, now that we've got all the screws off, we're gonna go ahead and pull back this access panel. And here is the goods. Right here is our existing converter. Pretty simple. You just have two wires there, and it has a plug that plugs into the back side of the fuse panel. If you've never seen the back side of your fuse panel, this is what it looks like. So I'm gonna take a couple of things loose and get it ready to change out, and then once I'm almost ready to go, I'm gonna go shut off all my power, disconnect my batteries, and make sure there's nothing in here that's gonna electrocute me. But since it's about 90 degrees, it's pretty sticky outside today, I'm gonna get as much work done as I can before I pull that trigger. Okay, So we went ahead and killed our 50 amp power supply. And the next thing to do is disconnect our batteries, because even if you flip the battery disconnect switch, you're still going to have some current running through the system for things like your carbon monoxide detectors and stuff like that. So since I have two batteries, I've got to disconnect them both. I went ahead and pulled the negative terminal off of each battery. What I like to do so I don't lose things or get mixed up on how things are connected is to run a zip tie through the connectors. Make sure you take them somewhere that's plastic. So these are plastic here. There's nothing that can ground out. There's no risk. We got a zip tie here through the side of the battery, and we'll just cut it off and throw it away when we're done. Make sure to put the bolt you take off the battery back on, or like I did over here, run it straight in with the zip tie. So we've disconnected both batteries. Everything's completely dead. Now we're ready to get back in the basement and change out this converter. So here's our converter. This is what it looks like outside of the camper. It's just pretty simple. It's got a power cord. We'll plug this into a receptacle right on the back side of our breaker box under the basement. And then we've got a positive and negative here that comes in. It's got 3 fuses. If you ever have a converter issue, that's the first thing you should check are these fuses, along with the breaker in the house for the converter. We know all that stuff tested out good. So I'm just gonna crawl in there and take that other one out and throw this new one in. It should be simple, right? Lots of visibility and lots of room to work. Here we go. I've got my assistant here that's gonna hand me everything I need.
Who's that?
Oh, where's she? She was here.
Should have had a count on how often you hit your head.
I hit my head so many times. So once you get in, really, there's just 2 screws that go to the floor. So we'll take those out. There's one here and there's one on the back side. It's gonna be a little harder to get to. All right. While you're under here, it's always a good idea to check your other connections. Go ahead and, if you have a grand design like ours where you can see everything, it's a great time to go ahead and check out all your sewer connections or your water inlets. There's the new water pump we just put on the other day that's still looking good. Just a good time since you're here anyway. Go ahead and check things out. Clean anything up that may need attention and save yourself some trouble down the road. Tied in here, our screws are back down, our wires are secured, double check. So now I just got to find a way to run this here power cable in such a way that I got enough slack to get where I'm going. And we're ready to test. It's hot. Okay guys, so now we've got the new inverter installed and wired up, everything's secured. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my multimeter and just get some voltage readings off the batteries. I'm going to check those out real quick. And we are already at 13.4 coming into the batteries. Nice. So that's really positive. Match. Don't be surprised if you call your manufacturer or a troubleshooting service or even just a friend to talk through a problem. A lot of times they're going to ask you to get some very basic voltage readings. If you're doing business with Grand Design, they're really great to walk you through it, tell you exactly what to do, all the way down to how to set up your meter and where to put the leads. Don't be afraid of a multimeter. Really, everybody should have one. This is a $15 multimeter I picked up at Walmart, and I've been running around with it in the trailer. It works just as good as the big ones. Don't be afraid to grab a multimeter and start troubleshooting. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump in and I'm going to get an output reading off of the new converter, and assuming it gives me what I want to see, we're going to call this project done. So I'm going to take these leads and I'm going to put them right here where our positive and negative connections come out of the converter. And we are charging at 13.62 volts.
Nice.
So I'm content to believe that our charging issue is fixed, and hopefully that cleans up some of the other electrical weirdness that's been going on. It's too late for our refrigerator, but maybe we'll save something else.
Fingers crossed.
Just gonna zip all this up real quick and probably vacuum in here. It's kind of nasty.
That's right, and then you go inside and you vacuum in there.
My chores are done for the night.
You take out the trash.